Hey, hey, good morning. Welcome to Morning Coffee with Sandy. It is officially Silly Sunday today. It's Silly Sunday based on today's word art. We'll talk about it later. Anyway, it's hot. It's really hot. And it's going to be almost up to 120 again today. And honestly, it was kind of fun and funny. Oh, hi. Top knot. Top knot messy bun, whatever you want to call it, because it's just too hot to have all that hair down on me today. Anyway, I am going to go play tennis, at least for a little while. We'll see how that goes. Um, Good morning, Stephen. Stephen is here, so I have to stop what I'm doing and say, "It's your birthday, Stephen. It's your birthday. It's your birthday, Stephen. It's your birthday. It's your birthday, Stephen. It's your birthday." And I am super psyched. Not that long ago, your mom was in the hospital. What was she doing there? She was screaming, it's your birthday, Stephen. It's your birthday. And we are super psyched. Yeah. Okay, that's the abbreviated version of a birthday song written by my daughter and son in law in honor of remember when they made it illegal to use the happy birthday song without paying royalties on it. So this was a contest to have a royalty-free birthday song. My kids put this in and I don't know, it didn't win. It came in number 2 or number 3. It's online. It's pretty cool. Wow. I realized that with what I'm wearing right now, you can really see my tan lines, can't you? Yeah. Because I usually wear something with, straps like that when I'm playing tennis and I'm out in the sun. Okay, happy birthday, Stephen. I told you we would not forget your birthday. Birthdays are like, I celebrate my birthday constantly. I love my birthday. And speaking of birthdays, yesterday was so bizarre. When we played tennis, one of the girls said, this is like worth writing down, because there were 4 of us because we were playing doubles. There was a 40-something, a 50-something, a 60-something, and a 70-something. Yeah. 4 generations, really, of tennis players all playing together and playing hard and playing well. And for those of you who are 70s like me, I held up our end okay. Lost the first set 4-6. I played with the 50-something. And second set, I played with the 40-something, and we kicked butt and won like 6-2 or something like that. The 40-something is really good. She's really good. Oh, my glue worked. I fixed my little, this was a treasure that my daughter brought back from Africa. I actually have the female that goes with it. Isn't that cool? Can you see what that is? Yeah, it's a little man. And there's a little woman that goes with it. But when they cleaned my house this week, somebody must have knocked it over. Oh, I glued it, but now he's kind of on an angle like this. Do you think that's okay? I think so. I could always break it again, I suppose, and refix it. The Fritzy report. The Fritzy report was, I cannot tell you how cool Fritzy was yesterday. So I took my nephew over. And when we got there, Fritzy was in bed, and they kept telling me as I walked to her room, she's really tired today. She's asleep. She's probably not going to want company. So I said, hey, if she doesn't want company, we'll leave. But the minute we walked in and said, hey, how you doing, Mamikins? She was like ready to chat. She didn't get out of bed. She laid in bed, but she talked to us, and she was just cheery and adorable. She loves when men come to visit. Totally loves having men around her. Could not stop holding hands with my nephew and touching his face and telling him he was adorable and handsome. And every once in a while throwing in the looking at me and saying, isn't she pretty? Isn't she the prettiest? Yeah, she was very complimentary. But that's not the Fritzy report I wanted to give you. Remember, I told you the other day, we've been talking about cookies a lot lately, and it was National Pecan Sandye's Day. That's the cookie that I thought was named for me. My mother used to make them all the time, and I thought they were literally Sandy cookies, my cookies. Anyway, I made them just like my mother did. I made crescents and balls, but she especially loved the little crescents, and she made them small, so they were almost like tea cookies. And I took a little baggie of them with me to go to visit her at the home yesterday. And I said, I made a treat for you. When I was a little girl, you used to make, and she seemed to kind of like remember that or something about it, or the idea made her happy. And I said, would you like one? Now, I preface this by saying she never, ever likes to eat anymore. And she never likes the treats she used to like. Anyway, I said, so I brought you a cookie, and I gave her the cookie, and she put it to her lips, and she went like this. Oh, this is good. And she ate the whole cookie and licked her fingers and thanked me and told me how good it was. And then a little while later, I asked her if she wanted another cookie. And she said, you got to get this. This is a woman who says no to anything you offer her. And she ate 2 Sandy cookies. I was pretty pleased. Good morning, Jenny. What does that say? Oh, your son's going back up to San Francisco. You're going to miss him, huh? Have him, tell him to have a safe trip. And I'm so glad you got to spend some time with him. There is something so special about spending time with our grown-up kids, providing they don't live with us. Sorry if I offended anyone. I think we've talked about that lately. It used to be that the big issue was empty nest syndrome. Yeah, when the last kid finally left the nest and we were parents with no kids at home. And now it seems like it's just the opposite. Times are tough and kids are moving back in. And, we parents need our space too, right? Yeah. So it's like refill the nest syndrome. We don't want to do that. We want to see them. We want to love them and hug them up. But they don't need to live with us. Okay. Let them visit. It's my 2 cents. What can I say? But it's so great when they visit. So did I mention that my grandson is at camp? I don't get to see him enough as it is, right? But he's 10 years old and he is at sleepaway camp for 2 weeks plus. I mean, you can imagine how excited he is. And as my daughter said, these kids needed to get away from their parents. They needed, after all this pandemic closeness, to have friends and silly and giggles and just be with their buds. So I've been writing letters to Max so that I can mail one like every other day, so he'll get mail all the time. My daughter got her first letter already from Max. Now, do you remember letters from camp? Okay, I got to be straight with you here. I never wrote a letter from camp ever in my life, because don't feel too sorry for me right now, because it was my choice. I never went to camp. Nope, not one summer. Never went to camp. I know I missed a phenomenal experience, but I made sure my children had that experience. And they grew up loving camp so much that my daughter ended up getting married at camp. Yeah, we rented her summer camp for the weekend and had a glorious, fun-filled camp wedding over the weekend. It was great. We had a lot of wildfires in California, and they were in areas that were perfect for camps. They were in kind of wildernessy type areas. So their camp, the camp that my daughter grew up at, burnt down. And so did many others. But this camp, Camp Newman, is kind of grown back, I guess. And that's where Max is this summer. And apparently already having a phenomenal time because he wrote just the happiest letter. You know, usually I remember getting letters from my kids at camp saying, camp is good. The food is okay. I made a friend. Love. Oh, and my son, to this day, we can't say his first name without his last name. He always signed his name, your son, Michael Mador. It was never Mike. It was never Michael. It was always first name, last name. And Max does the same thing. Your son, Max Paquin. He said something like, it was immensely fun or something like that. I don't know, but it was a great letter and he's having a wonderful time. And for those of you whose kids are at camp or great grandkids are at camp, what an experience. I mean, like, apparently it's a lifelong thing that you never forget. I never forget that I didn't get to go. Uh-oh, message here. What does it say? Oh, Steven's telling me to hold on to my memories because he was in Skokie last night. Family was in town. They went out to dinner and he said, keep my memories because Skokie's really changed. Okay, well, maybe on the day that I see you, Steven, if you have a car, maybe we can drive around and see Skokie. Who knows? We'll figure out some plan. All right. Hey, we are dangerously close to 1,000 people in What Do I Say, What Do I Do? You know that this morning coffee is an offshoot of What Do I Say, What Do I Do? Yeah, I know. I'm working on a name change thing because nothing seems to fit anymore. I don't want to call the Facebook page Morning Coffee. We're working on it. If you have ideas, I'm open. Send me some messages. But we're like at 987 people, I think. Come on, invite your friends. Let's get 1,000. Let's do something really special to celebrate 1,000 people who really dig being inspired and motivated and positive and filled with gratitude and joy. This is I was going to say it's a crappy world we live in, but that's not true. It's a wonderful world. This group of people can find the joy, and that's what makes this group so special. Maybe we should call ourselves the Joy Finders. I don't know. We need a name for this group besides What Do I Say, What Do I Do? That name has been around with me for, I don't know. Help me here, Tracy. 7 years, I think. But it's time for that to mean something else. You know, that may be some of the work that we do, but it's not the name for the group anymore. Hey, you know whose birthday it is? Although I'm pretty sure he's not with us any longer. Bob Keesham. You know who Bob Keesham was? Do you? Do you? If I said Mr. Green Jeans, would that help? That was his sidekick. It is happy birthday to Captain Kangaroo. Now, Captain Kangaroo came around a little bit, Stephen knew, a little bit after me. It was more like my brother's time, but I watched along with my brother. Captain Kangaroo. That was a kid's show that was like, can you see everything in the room in my glasses? I'm trying to read and it's hard to do. Coffee with a chicken. That's a great idea. Thank you. Captain Kangaroo. Wholesome, informational, creative. Not my favorite show, not by long shot, but Captain Kangaroo, I remember getting to go somewhere where Captain Kangaroo, where you could go shake his hand, and wow, that was like awesome. He was like a hero to us, Captain Kangaroo. In 1994, Aerosmith, not my favorite band, by the way, but in 1994, Aerosmith did something really cool. They were the first band ever to let their fans download a complete album for free. If you think about it, it's a phenomenal way to increase your fan base. Give them something big like that they get hooked on, and they want more of you. or not. And it's kind of like, I think you'll understand this. We grow in what do I say, what do I do? I watch and I check and I see how many people are in the group, and some days we're one or two people up and some days we're one or two people down. And I remember the first few times we lost people in the group, how upset I was. And Tracy said to me, I'll never forget this because I've stuck with this. It's good that they're leaving because they don't want to be here. And the people who don't want to be here bring the energy down for those of us who do want to be here. I want my tribe, our tribe, to be our tribe. So people who don't want to be here, let's cull the herd and bring in people who do want this kind of energy. That's who I want to play with. That's who I want in my tribe. So I no longer get upset when people say, yeah, I think I'm going to 86 out of this place. That's fine. That's fine. You have my permission to go. And I also know there are literally millions of people out there in the world, all across the planet, who belong in this place. Let's find them. Invite your friends. Let's grow this mama. Huh? Let's grow this baby. It's Onion Day. Now, I wouldn't normally talk about onions, but my aunt hates onions. She calls them onions, like there was a G in it. Onions. Oh, how can I eat onions? I don't like onions. I happen to like onions. I think they add the spice that we need to a lot of things. But the question then becomes, what are your favorite onions? Do you like yellow onions, sweet yellow onions, white onions, red onions? I use red onions more than anything else. And Indy and I argue about onions quite a bit. Good morning, darling. He likes the white onions or the yellow onions, not the sweet ones. I like the milder onions. Oh, and green onions. Do you like scallions? You know, when you chop off the green end. And then when you get to the white end, it's got so much more flavor in it. And onions are not hard to grow. They are not hard to grow. And that's another, well, except here in the desert where it's so dang hot, but you get the idea. Anyway, it's Onion Day. So honor your favorite onions today. Go shopping and pick up some onions. It is America's Kids Day. Oh, really? Like every day in America isn't Kids Day? Sorry, I'm not going for that one. But it is Ice Cream Cake Day. Do you remember ice cream cake rolls? They don't make them anymore. But in my house, when I was growing up, that was like the best dessert ever. They were about this big. It was like a log, and it was thin layer of chocolate cake with vanilla ice cream rolled in between. And you would cut it off, and it would be like this swirl of cake and ice cream. Ugh, please tell me you remember cake rolls. I mean, ice cream cake roll. Oh, I loved ice cream cake roll, but I haven't seen one in a million years. I asked Indy if he could make one, and he said, not likely. That made me sad because I really would like to find an ice cream cake roll. They probably taste crummy. Are you telling me that they make one, Bressler's makes one, or that's whose ice cream you like? Oh, Bressler's made the cake rollers. I didn't know that. I didn't know where they came from. Do they make them anymore? I want one. Maybe they still have them in Illinois. I don't know. The other thing I'm missing, okay, Sara Lee still exists in a lot of different ways, but what happened to my Sara Lee pecan coffee cake? Where is it? I can't find it anywhere. Anywhere. I haven't been able to find it for years, except once or twice in Skokie years ago. I found them because I guess the Sara Lee headquarters is somewhere near Skokie, because I remember driving by there. Anyway, I'm looking for ice cream cake rolls and Sara Lee butter pecan or something like that coffee cake. That's all. I will be content to never eat anything else again in my whole entire life. I want those two things. You know how we're always talking about, well, they name big companies like Lear Jets after the guy who invented it, like Lear, and we got Lear Jets, and Ford, and we got Fords. Well, in 1899, Juan Trippe founded Pan American Airways. His name was not Pan or American or Airways, but don't you think it's interesting that his name was Tripp and he founded an airlines? Yeah, go take a one trip. One trip, that's all you're allowed. Not two, one trip. That was 1899. Happy birthday, Juan. Thank you for the trip. It's National Bingo Day. Do you like bingo? My family used to play bingo at every holiday. Seriously, it was so much fun. And my parents would have these like amazing gifts. If you got bingo, it was like being on the Price is Right or something. And they would have this array of gifts lined up on one side of the room, not wrapped, so we could see what we were picking. Ah, it was so much fun. And then there would be these secret gifts too that were wrapped, and you didn't know if they would be booby prizes or better prizes. I loved bingo with the family. And then one day, as a grown-up, like a couple of years ago, one of my girlfriends at tennis said, we should go to lunch one day and go over to the casino and play bingo. And I thought, how fun, go play bingo. That's easy, I can do that. And it was like $10 and you got like 6 cards and you could sit there all day. And I thought, wow, what a great, inexpensive, fun day. Only one other woman showed up, and the two of us bought our cards and went in and sat down at the table and then spent the next hour and a half like this. So fast, so confusing, was not anything like the bingo we knew. We just finally looked at each other, started laughing, and said, this is not an old people's game. Let's get out of here. Let's go. Yeah, very disappointing bingo. Very disappointing. What else? Oh, it's Log Cabin Day. And I was wondering if that was referring to log cabin syrup, because it's not the syrup I use anymore, the maple syrup. But do you remember Log Cabin? It was like, that was the syrup, right? Aunt Jemima or Log Cabin. You could have either one, but those were your only two choices. My house, it was Log Cabin maple syrup. That was it. We didn't know there was such a thing as real maple syrup. Sarah Lee used to be in Deerfield, right? Oh, they moved. Okay, I didn't know the name of that area was Deerfield, but I know a lot of people in Deerfield. Well, he founded Pan American Airways in 1899. That's all I know. Maybe it was a dream at that point. I don't know. We'll have to do some more research. Get on that, Stephen, will you? I know it's your birthday, but look that up and find out. Juan Trippe, Trippe, 1899 was his birthday. Oh, sorry. He didn't. Sorry, you're right. He didn't found the airlines in 1899. He was born in 1899. I am so glad to have that mystery solved. And now, before we go, because we're running late, today's word art. Today's word art came right from my heart today. It says all of my senses, my sight, my smell, my taste, my touch. What did I miss? 1, 2, 3, 4. Sense of wonder? No, come on. What am I missing? Sight, sound. Oh, hearing. I think it's because I wear hearing aids that I forget that one. All of my senses are vital and important to me, but nonsense is my favorite. I consider myself to be a grown-up, but I've never lost the wonder of being a child. And to me, that is sophisticated immaturity. I know how to behave. I just don't always behave that way. So I wish you a lifetime of sophisticated immaturity. It's fun. Okay, sometimes you act like a geek or a dork or you get overly emotional, but What is it? Kids smile 1,000 times a day and adults smile 300 times a day. So we should be kids more often. Sophisticated immaturity if you want to be a smiler. All right, it's time, you guys. I got to go get ready for some hot tennis. I mean, literally hot tennis. Stephen, you have the best birthday ever. And for those of you who are celebrating anything, I salute you. I love a good celebration. And for those of you who are suffering, I gotcha. I gotcha. Send me a message. Send me a message. I'll send you some inspiration because I got lots for everybody. I do. And I got a lot of silly too. So have a silly, silly Sunday. And I will see you on Marvelous Monday. Bye-bye, y'all.